don't know if he's on a fracture in his face.
Now all 5 judges. Oh my! Connected. And Grunhard is dead.
Get it on.
All MMA fighters are known for their respect and sportsmanship, but there are individuals who will stop at nothing to win. Some act cocky and overconfident, but in the end, karma almost always catches up with them. We'll show you exactly these kinds of cases. Be sure to like the video and enjoy watching. The first fighter to be punished is 36-year-old Moroccan Badr Hari. In a fight against a Polish fighter 9 years younger, Hari didn't bother with pleasantries and shoved him with all his might, making it clear that his opponent wasn't even close to his level.
You know, wait until I win. Fuck being humble.
His opponent, Arkadiusz Wrzosek, came in with a record of 13 wins and 5 losses, and was performing quite well until Hari accidentally fell on his own. This awkward incident enraged Hari, and he truly engaged in the fight. Ruthlessly attacking his opponent and gradually breaking down his body, Badr Hari knocked him down.
81-inch reach, the same as bump to the rib cage.
I can just guarantee you there'll be...
These blows severely impacted Wrzosek's ribs and liver, but Arkadiusz didn't give up and continued the fight. Seconds later, the scenario repeated itself.
He's gonna stay technical. He sets up the finish.
Understanding his opponent's weakness, Hari focused solely on his body, and for the 3rd time, knocked him down.
Just power.
Continuing the fight seemed like a crazy idea, but Arkadiusz, gathering all his strength, achieved the impossible.
This fight is over.
With a single counter-strike, he managed to knock out the raging beast, successfully avenging the past. This is outrageous.
All 5 judges. Oh my!
A fighter who was winning the fight falls to such a cowardly blow. On June 10, 2016, a 30-year-old Dutchman Mirthel Grunhard faced an Armenian fighter, Harut Grigorian. In the first round, Grigorian relentlessly pressured his opponent, not giving him a moment to relax. Realizing his impending defeat, which would cost him a title shot, Grunhard took advantage of the moment and knocked him out from behind.
5 judges. Oh my! Defend yourself at all times!
The phrase, "defend yourself at all times," might apply to this knockout, but it's certainly not a justification for such behavior. Grunhard immediately began to celebrate his victory, and at that moment, the Armenians' team jumped on him. The scandal spread across the internet, with everyone demanding a rematch. And 6 months later, they met again in the arena, but by that time, Grunhard had claimed the champion's belt, making the fight much more interesting. All this time, Grigorian had been dreaming of revenge and beating the arrogant fighter, and the day finally came. His face showed no emotion, which instilled fear in his opponent. The entire crowd was cheering for him, and he had no choice but to win.
He's got to angle out, pivot out. Don't stay center.
Oh, that right hand connected. And Grunhard is dead. That is a knockdown. The champ is down here in round 1.
After the first knockdown, Grunhard could barely stand, while Grigorian couldn't wait for the fight to resume. Without delay, he avenged the previous incident and claimed the champion's belt.
Right now, we may have a new champ in the making. Harut Grigorian hitting the champ. Who's the new welterweight champion of the world?
This incident between fighters will definitely surprise you. The massive muscular guy goes by the name Zdravko Bad News Tarnagiev, a nickname likely given due to the tattoos on his body, which contain more information than a daily newspaper. His opponent was a humble Spaniard named Aitor Gaspar. Relying on his size, Zdravko acted very disrespectfully, even going so far as to shove Aitor by the throat.
Hey.
On the day of the fight, he remained overly confident, keeping his serious demeanor until the very end. As the bell rang, the humble guy twice tried to take the fight to the ground, but failed. Realizing he needed to prove his strength and stand up, he finished the fight and completely humiliated the giant. Zdravko not only suffered a loss, but also injured his hand. This outcome didn't sit well with him, and he demanded a rematch. 6 months later, he finally got his chance, but this time, their roles were reversed. The once humble fighter started behaving like a total jerk compared to their last fight. Instead of offering a handshake as a sign of respect, he rushed in like a ferocious beast. He should have understood that arrogance doesn't make you cooler. It only brings you closer to karma. After his loss, the Spaniard continued his disrespectful antics, but it was too late. Zdravko had already proven his determination to everyone.
I'm Hurricane Peter McNeely from Medfield, Mass. On Saturday night, watch me kick Tyson's ass.
At the time, Peter McNeely was considered a highly promising talent with a record of 36 wins and only 1 loss. However, he was unlucky to face Mike Tyson, who had just been released from prison. During his time in prison, Tyson converted to Islam and trained relentlessly, achieving the best physical shape of his life. McNeely didn't take Tyson seriously and recklessly charged at him, but for Tyson, such opponents were merely breakfast.
Right at Mike Tyson. Down goes.
After being knocked down, McNeely got up and circled the ring, signaling that he was okay. However, when he attempted to go on the offensive again, he ended up losing like a total loser.
Stop that nonsense because it was starting to butt heads.
Tyson with a left hook, a right uppercut. Down goes.
What the guy in the red shirt does is disgusting. With a cigarette in his mouth, he starts blowing smoke into his opponent's face and shoves him. But that was just the beginning of the humiliation. At the press conference, when Shane Mosley's wife bent over, he went as far as to slap her. Mosley's wife managed to get some revenge by throwing water on the disrespectful jerk, but it wasn't enough. Filled with rage and a burning desire to reclaim his dignity and honor, Mosley entered the ring with a cold, emotionless focus, ready to destroy the rat. It was clear that Mosley was superior to his cocky opponent in every way. Out of ignorance and desperation, Ricardo Mayorga, trying to assert himself, continued mocking and shouting. Not wanting to toy with his prey for too long, Mosley landed a single punch that made Mayorga cry. That punch broke several of the rat's ribs, but at the same time restored Mosley's honor and pride. Alex Walters Hanan, that's the name of a fighter who behaves like a child, but his petty actions are nothing compared to this. In the most unexpected moment, he lands a gut punch on his opponent, signaling that he considers himself to be on a higher level. His opponent, Andrei Mikhailovich, is an incredible prospect with a perfect record of 15 wins. At the time, Hanan also held an undefeated record of 13 victories, but that would soon change. Realizing that Mikhailovich was far stronger than he had imagined, Hanan resorted to more dirty tactics. However, he should have known that every disrespectful move only enraged his opponent more, and would return to haunt him twice as hard. As Hanan sat there in a defeated posture, he had already accepted his loss, while Mikhailovich was just getting started.
Misses with his right hand and
In a final act of retaliation, Mikhailovich spat on Hanan's neck, avenging all his antics. But there was still the finishing blow to be delivered, and the Russian fighter eagerly took on the task.
35 seconds to finish. He takes another shot and more. And here they come, and there's the stop.
He made sure Hanan regretted his disgraceful behavior and learned a harsh lesson in respect. His name is Ren Hiramoto, and that's his usual greeting gesture. This time, his punisher was Kyohei Nagiwara, a fighter with extensive experience in wrestling. Just one look at him was enough to see he's a serious guy. The fight had barely started when Nagiwara landed a successful right hook and immediately went for a takedown. Hiramoto showed his reluctance to stay on the ground and brought the fight back to a standing position. However, his will alone wasn't enough as Nagiwara continued to push for his game plan again and again. Finally, when he succeeded, Nagiwara secured the top mount and eagerly beat down his opponent. After his victory, he performed a traditional execution and added yet another win to his record.
Not quite at 100%.
Michael Venom Page, a breathtaking fighter with an undefeated record, is known for treating every fight like a work of art. He gained immense popularity due to his spectacular knockouts and dazzling performances. When he faced Douglas Lima, Page considered him nothing more than a bug he could easily knock out, and his signature cocky behavior made that clear.
At all times, obey my commands at all times.
As always, Page began the fight in his usual flashy style. Bored with the routine, his only focus seemed to be entertaining the crowd with his dance moves. Lima, fully aware that he stood little chance against Page in striking exchanges, decided to take the fight to a more comfortable zone, on the ground. His main objective was to wear down the dancing showman, and before he knew it, the first round ended. In the second round, Page entered with the same overconfidence, continuing to amuse the audience. But in the blink of an eye, he was knocked out cold.
100%.
It was the first defeat of his entire career, and for the first time, Page tasted the bitter reality of a knockout. Our top cocky fighters list continues with this fighter in a primate mask, named Leandro Silva. His opponent was a fighter from Slovakia, Marek Mazuch, who entered the fight with a 6-0 record. Despite the fact that Silva had lost his last 3 fights, he fought with precision and completely outclassed his opponent.
The injury we teased, maybe.
So we may see blood land.
No one could have predicted that the Brazilian fighter would perform so well.
Pick his target, but he got beat.
He really has a lot of heart and discipline.
Marek had no choice but to defend and search for gaps in Silva's strategy. Finally, his first opportunity to strike came, but he was quickly humiliated and embarrassed.
Little shots. And
Karma wasn't in a hurry this time, and Leandro Silva kept boxing at the same pace. Silva opened the second round with energetic combinations, but his flashy dance moves weren't forgotten, and he got the punishment he deserved. A fighter who hadn't stood out in any way snatched victory with a single attack. After this defeat, Leandro Silva never wore the primate mask again. This rat's name is Ryan Jett, and in his fight against Cub Hawkins, he unexpectedly slapped him in the face. Hawkins had done nothing wrong, just eating his banana, but he ended up losing it. At that time, Hawkins had a perfect record of 4 finishes, all in the first round. Since the arena was shaped more like a triangle, he had an even better chance of beating the scoundrel. Hawkins constantly closed the distance, not allowing his opponent to move freely.
Both guys have a good sense of timing, so it's...
By the end of the second round, Ryan was covered in bruises, but the punishment didn't end there. After the 4th round, that smug face was gone, and due to severe injuries, the fight was stopped. Hawkins, having brutally punished the rat, claimed the championship belt.